It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 1, verse 1. God, who at sundry times and diverse manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Yahweh is the Most High God. Yahawashi is who the world immediately calls Jesus Christ. The Rakakwadash is the Holy Spirit, the Paleo Hebrew, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well through the Spirit, teaching His word and believing His word, Lord willing that they continue to endure and be sincere. And a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect that are scattered four corners of the earth, teaching His word and believing His word, Lord willing the same Spirit that they endure and be sincere. Shalom to the Akwath Yom that are believers with faith. Lord willing you can continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife. And Lord willing the Most have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in faith. The title of this lesson is 2nd Esdras, the 7th chapter, verse 28 to 38 breakdown, which you want to understand, 100%. And it's going into Yahawashi and the 12 tribes, a little bit of history to lead to where we at today. So I'm going to try to go verse by verse. Some verses I'm going to do a double and then get precepts on. So Lord willing, you're paying attention, write down these precepts, and then you yourself can read it and see if you see it the same way. But right now, pay attention and listen. So the first verse we're going to go into is 2nd Esdras, the 7th chapter, and verse 28. For my son Yahawashi shall be revealed with those that be with him, and that they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years, right? Because within the 400 years, people were told of Yahawashi's coming. Like right even before Yahawashi came, all the way to the time that he did come, So let's get the precepts on it. So Yahawashi would be revealed to those people within the 400 years. So the first precept I'm going to get is Luke, the 2nd chapter. We're going to read from verse 1 all the way to 20. It says, and it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And this taxing was first made when Cyrenius was governor of Syria, and all went to be taxed, every one into his own city. And Joseph also went from Galilee, out of the city of Nazareth, unto Judea, unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, right? To be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, being great with child. And so it was that while they were there, the days were accomplished, that she should be delivered. Salaki family. Salaki. So I'm going to read that verse again. Salaki was my daughter in the background, right? So I'm going to read verse 4 again. It says, Salaki. It says, and Joseph also went from Galilee, out of the city of Nazareth, into Judea, unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, being great with child. And so it was that while they were there, the days were accomplished, that she should be delivered. And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn. And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi, came upon them, in the glory of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi shone round about them. And they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Hamashiach the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you, and ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was an angel. Suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace and good will toward men. And it came to pass, as the angels were gone away from them into heaven, the shepherds said one to another, Let us now go even to Bethlehem and see this thing which is come to pass, which the Lord Yahawashi hath made known unto us. And they came with haste and found Mary and Joseph and the babe lying in a manger. And when they had seen it, they made known abroad and saying, which was told them concerning this child, right? Because it was prophesied, right? Verse 18, it says, all they that heard it wondered at those things which were told them by the shepherds. But Mary kept all these things and pondered them in her heart. And the shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things that they had heard and seen, as it was told unto them. Right? Let me just go back and pull the verse again in 2 Esdras 7, where it says, For my son Yahawashi, right, shall be revealed with those that be with him, and that they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years, because the coming of Hamashiach Yahawashi. And we just read it in Luke, the first chapter, verse 1 to 20. You know, he was revealed as the child being born, right? Because you see it in the title when we go back up to the top, where it says Yahawashi's birth in Bethlehem, you know. And then coming down, where you see she brought forth her firstborn, which was Yahawashi wrapped in clothes, right? And the angel of the Lord came upon them, and he glorified the Lord shone round about them, and they were sore afraid. And then even more, a great multitude of heavenly angels was praising, right? And the shepherd said one to another, Let us now go even to Bethlehem to see this thing which is come to pass, right? Because Yahawashi was going to be revealed, you know. So now let's drop down to verse 25. I just had to re-go in there because sometimes people can get lost. So now that you've seen verse 1 to 20, now we're going to read verse 25 to 32. It says, And behold, there was a man in Jerusalem whose name was Simeon. And the same man was just and devout, waiting for the constellation of Israel, and the Holy Ghost, which is the Rakakwadash in the Paleo Hebrew, was upon him. And it was revealed unto him by the Holy Ghost that he should not see death before he had seen the Lord's Hamashiach. So he wouldn't see death until he seen Yahawashi Hamashiach. And he came by the Spirit into the temple, and when the parents brought in the child Yahawashi to do for him after the custom of the law. Even Yahawashi was taught the law, because guess what? Everybody was reading the laws and the prophets back then. And what was the custom of the law for him being a boy? After the 8th day, he would get circumcised, right? Verse 28, Then took he him up in his arm and blessed God and said, Lord, now lettest thou thy servant depart in peace according to thy word. For my eyes have seen thy salvation. Yahawashi is that salvation, which thou hast prepared before the face of all people, a light to lighten the Gentiles in the glory of thy people Israel. Right? Because our people fell off. A lot of people rush and talk about the other nations, which Israel is a light to the Gentiles, you know, because we are Yahawashi Yahawashi's children. We are his possession. We are his inheritance. But this is the light to the Gentiles of the ones that fell away. Because Yahawashi came for the Jews, man. Because the Jews was going to get it first because they were still established under the understanding, right? And the rest of Israel, which goes into the northern kingdom, they didn't know about Yahawashi, but you had some northern kingdom that had faith in Yahawashi, Cornelius, so on and so on. But a majority bulk love of the Gentiles that we read in the New Testament is going towards the southern kingdom, leaving out of the Greek captivity, cleaving to the ways of the Greeks. You have to read the Maccabees captivity before you just hop in the New Testament and then get lost in words. I just had to say that, right? So Yahawashi was going to be a light unto the Gentiles, even the light to the whole nation of Israel, being glory of thy people Israel. Within that 400 years, right, Yahawashi was going to be revealed, right? So now let's go to St. John chapter 1. I'm going to read verse 19 to 31. And it says, and this is the record of John. When the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, who art thou? And he confessed and denied not, but confessed, I am not the Hamashiach. And they asked him, what then? Art thou Elijah? And he saith, I am not. Art thou that prophet? And he answered, no. Then said they unto him, who art thou? That we may give an answer to them that sent us. What sayest thou of thyself? And he said, I am the voice of one crying in the wilderness. Make straight the way of the Lord, talking about Yahawashi, as said the prophet Isaiah. And they which were sent were of the Pharisees. And they asked him and said unto him, why baptizest thou then? If thou be not that Hamashiach, nor Elijah, neither that prophet. John answered them, saying, I baptize with water, but there standeth one among you, whom ye know not, which is Yahawashi. Yahawashi was in the midst, right? And Yahawashi is a cousin of John. His mother was a cousin of Elizabeth. So they're family, they're related. So John and Yahawashi was growing up in the same time. You know, they was in the womb around the same time. Verse 27, he it is who cometh after me is preferred before me, whose shoes latchet I am not worthy to unloose. These things were done in Bethabara beyond Jordan, where John was baptizing. The next day John seeth Yahawashi coming unto him, and saith, behold, the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sin of the world. This is he of whom I said, after me cometh a man which is preferred before me, for he was before me, and I knew him not, but that he should be made manifest to Israel. Therefore I am come baptizing with water. And John bare record, saying, I saw the Spirit descending from heaven like a dove, and it abided upon him. Right? And this is John paving the way for Yahawashi, for the coming of Yahawashi. And in this time, Yahawashi was revealed, or people was told of his coming. And John is speaking of this coming one, right? Shoes that he can fit. Even more, Yahawashi was before him, you know. And look, even what is we doing on this time? Talking about the coming of Yahawashi on this time. Back then, they were speaking on the coming of Yahawashi, and eventually he was revealed, right? So let's get into this point. Matthew, the 21st chapter, verse 1 to 5. It says, when they drew nigh unto Jerusalem and were come to Bethphage, unto the Mount of Olives, then sent Yahawashi two disciples, saying unto them, go into the village over against you, and straightway ye shall find an ass tied, and a cloak with her. Loose them and bring them unto me. And if any man say aught unto you, ye shall say, the Lord have need of them, and straightway he will send them. All this was done that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophet, saying, Tell ye the daughter of Zion, behold, thy king cometh unto thee meek, and sitting upon an ass, and a coat, the fowl of an ass. And this was prophesied. I believe we can go to Zechariah, the 9th chapter, because everything that is fulfilled, or everything that come to pass, was something that was prophesied before. So this is Zechariah chapter 9. In verse 9, it says, Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, thy king cometh unto thee. He is just, having salvation, lowly, and riding upon an ass, and upon a coat, the fowl of an ass. Right? So when you go back to 2nd Esdras chapter 7 and verse 28, For my son Yahawashi shall be revealed with those that be with him, and they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years. And we went to a few scriptures that show that they rejoiced, right? Let's go back to Matthew, the 21st chapter, real quick. We're going to read verse 12 to 16. This is Matthew chapter 21, verse 16. Verse 12, Salaki. It says, And Yahawashi went into the temple of God and cast out all of them that sold and bought in the temple, and overthrew the tables of the money changers and the seats of them that sold doves. It said unto them, It is written, My house shall be called the house of prayer, but ye have made it a den of thieves. And the blind and the lame came to him in the temple, and he healed them. And when the chief priests and the scribes saw the wonderful things that he did, and the children crying in the temple and saying, Hosanna, the son of David, they were so displeased, and said unto him, Hearest thou what these say? And Yahawashi saith unto them, Yeah, have ye never read? Out of the mouth of babes and suckling thou hast perfect praise. When you go back up where it was saying, Hosanna to the son of David. Hosanna, oh save, to save, or he saves, right? Because Yahawashi name means he saves or he redeems. This is a beautiful thing right here. So we go back to 2nd Esdras. This all goes into rejoicing within 400 years. Now we could probably get other points in different points in the gospel where people were praising the coming, or within the time, the 400 years of Yahawashi praising. But we stuck to the point. We're going to move on to verse 29. So 2nd Esdras chapter 7 and verse 29. After these years shall my son Hamashiach die, and all men that have life. Yahawashi was going to die on the cross, rise 3 days, after 3 days, and get sin to the heavenly Father, and sit on the right hand side until the Lord make his enemies his footstool. And then all the men that have life, which is really talking about like the apostles and the prophets, because they come first, because after Yahawashi left, he gave them that comforter, the Rakak Wadash, that's going to teach them all things. It was going to allow them to see things in the spirit, and to have certain dark sayings, prophecies revealed to them, to be able to give the understanding to the children of Israel in that time before that great falling away. But you're going to see through the scriptures, we're going to show the falling away which comes with this. So 2nd Esdras 7 and 29 again. After these years shall my son Hamashiach die, and all men that have life. In verse 30, in the world shall be turned into the old silence 7 days. spiritual number, like as in the former judgments, so that no man shall remain. What is the former judgment? The falling away. That is the formal judgment. But before I get the verse in 2 Thessalonians about the falling away, I'm going to go to Judges chapter 2. Because in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 15, you know, what happened is going to happen again. You know, and you can get that in the NLT. I'll read it on my side in the NLT. I'm not gonna put it on the screen just to make time faster. So Ecclesiastes chapter 3, again, you can go look this up in the NLT. It says, what is happening now has happened before, and what will happen in the future has happened before, because God makes the same things happen over and over again, right? So even what we're about to read right now, Judges chapter 2, in verse 16 to 19. It says, nevertheless, the Lord Yahweh raised up judges, right? And when you accumulate this, the whole book of Judges is dealing with judges. But the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, Yahawashi, those are judges, right? Because when you go to Job 9 and 24, when you go to 1 Maccabees 3 and 48, you know, they open up the book and cover the faces of the judges. And those judges consist of Yahawashi, the men of the Lord that are the servants, the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the bishops, even the heavenly angels, right? So it says, nevertheless, the Lord Yahweh raised up judges, which delivered them out of the hand of those that spoiled them. And yet they would not hearken unto their judges, but they went a-whoring after other gods and bowed themselves unto them. They turned quickly out of the way which their fathers walked in, obeying the commandments of the Lord Yahweh, but they did not so. See, this is a falling away, even in the book of Judges. Each judge that came after they died, Israel fell away. Israel fell away each time. And it was the same with the prophets, the same with Yahawashi and the apostles. Verse 18, and when the Lord Yahweh raised them up judges, then the Lord Yahweh was with the judge and delivered them out of the hand of their enemies all the days of the judges. For it repented the Lord Yahweh because of their groaning by reason of them that oppressed them and vexed them. And it came to pass when the judge was dead that they returned and corrupted themselves more than their fathers. You see, when the judges were dead, I just quoted that. Yahawashi died, the apostles died, which I have, scholar information on the deaths of the apostles and some of the prophets. And what did Israel do when these teachers, right, the reprovers, the watchmen died? They corrupted themselves more than their fathers in following other gods to serve them and to bow down unto them. They ceased not from their own doings, nor from their stubborn ways, right? A falling away. And we just read in Ecclesiastes, the same thing happened back then, happened in the future. So even if we was in the time of Yahawashi, the same thing that happened in Judges it happened again. So now let's go to another point, which is in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. The point is, I believe, verse 3. So 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 1, it says, now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Yahawashi Mashiach, by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by sword, nor by letter as from us, as that the day of Hamashiach is at hand, right? Because Yahawashi is going to come, right? He's coming back again, right? This book is after Yahawashi passed, right? Now, verse 3, it said, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, right? That day of Yahawashi, right? Because the day of Yahawashi is at hand, but that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, So the apostles is teaching at this time. The Lord is sending them, when you go to Acts chapter 1, verse 9, teaching in Judea, Jerusalem, Samaria. Then later on, they're going to have to go to the uttermost part of the earth. But this was the whole falling away. The falling away, right? It has to be a falling away first, and that the son of sin be revealed, right? That the man of sin be revealed, and the son of perdition, the son of condemnation, right? The man of sin is Esau, right? Because the main two characters of this nation-wise of this story is the children of Israel and the children of Esau. So the falling away is the children of Israel falling away from the understanding. Because after Yahawashi and the apostles, right, you had Constantine, you had that Rome mindset or that Christianity, paganism getting mixed in, and then they start calling Judaism. We didn't call it Judaism. All these religions started to grow and defile the children of Israel. You know, just like what we read in Judges, it got even worse even after the time of Yahawashi and the apostles and the teachers. That is the falling away. And now look at the time that we're in now, before the coming of Yahawashi, it's the big reveal of the man of sin, of Esau. What Daniel said, in the later end, knowledge shall increase. What we're going to look at in these verses, we're going to see how knowledge increase. But the falling away is an example of us being dead to the knowledge. The falling away had to happen so that we could wake up. And that's another reason why you want to be thankful. Want to be thankful that you're in this truth. A lot of us can't say that we really in this truth because we're not making action. We're not trying to learn. We're not trying to grow. So this is Acts chapter 20 and verse 16 to 19. It says, for Paul had determined to sail by Ephesus because he would not spend the time in Asia. For he hasted, if it were possible for him, to be at Jerusalem the day of Pentecost. And from Miletus he sent to Ephesus and called the elders of the church. And when they were come to him, he said unto them, ye know from the first day that I came unto Asia, after what manner I have been with you at all seasons, serving the Lord with all humility of mind, and with many tears and temptations, which befell me by the lying and wait of the Jews. Right? Dropping down, Salaki. Verse 28, which is what I was supposed to start with. Verse 28 and 29. Take heed, therefore, unto yourselves to all the flock over the which the Rakakwadash have made you overseers to feed the church of God, which he had purchased with his own blood, which Yahawashi purchased with his own blood. Let's go back up again, right? What was we at? Verse 19, serving the Lord with all humility of mind, and with many tears and temptations, which befell me by the lying and weight of the Jews, and how I kept back nothing that was profitable unto you, but have showed you and have taught you publicly and from house to house, testifying both to the Jews, also to the Greeks. What about the other nations? This is talking about Israelites. But this lesson, I'm not going into the meaning of Greeks and Gentiles, but this is Israelites, right? It says repentance towards God, faith towards our Lord Yahawashi HaMashiach, right? It says, and now behold, I go bound in the spirit unto Jerusalem, not knowing the things that shall befall me, save that the Rakakwadash witnesses in every city, saying that bounds and afflictions abide me. But none of these things move me, neither count I my life dear unto myself, so that I might finish my course with joy in the ministry which I have received of the Lord Yahawashi, to testify the gospel of the grace of God. And now I behold, I know that ye are among whom I have go on preaching the kingdom of God shall see my face no more. Wherefore I take you to record this day that I am pure from the blood of all men. For I have not shunned to declare unto you all the counsel of God. Here go the point. Take heed therefore unto yourselves and to all the flock over the which the Rakakadash have made you overseers to feed the church of God, which he hath purchased with his own blood. Right? Who is the ones that's feeding the church? The men that's teaching thus saith the Lord Yahawashi. The prophets is back on the earth doing the same action because ain't nothing new under the sun. The same cycle. The prophets is getting woken up again, teaching this word, right? Verse 29, it says, for I know this, that after my departing shall grievous wolves enter in among you, not sparing the flock, right? Starting with Israel, right? You see how we had Sadducees and Pharisees teaching something else, right? But you're going to have even more wolves, right? They might even come like sheep clothing. Then you have wolves of these other nations that's making new beliefs, man, taking away, making this truth of no effect, bringing in something that's going to bring void into you. But guess what? It had to happen. This falling away had to happen. And I know this, that after my departing shall grievous wolves enter in among you, not sparing the flock. And they're going to do it spiritually, mentally, physically, financially. Look at the system we're even in now. You know, this is one of the major captivities on why the children of Israel don't know who the hell they is, because we have been polluted. This is the number one captivity. We don't even remember. We don't even remember who we are. So when we went into Acts, and I read from 19 down, the point was 28 and 19, but gave a little more context into it. This goes into the old silence 7 days, so that no man shall remain, because after Yahawashi and the apostles, that was the falling away. The falling away, nobody remained in the faith. Some of us still had a little something. You had slaves singing old hymns and old songs, but it was going to usher us to fully not know who we was, right? Which lines up with history. So now that y'all got those, you got that point. Second Esdras chapter 7, verse 31. And after 7 days, the world that yet awakeneth not, and this is talking about the children of Israel, right? That's that world that yet awakeneth not, shall be raised up and shall die that is corrupt, right? So now, if they ain't gonna yet wakeneth not, it shall be raised up. How shall you be raised up? Let's go to Isaiah 52. This is Isaiah chapter 52, verse 1 and 2. It says, awake, awake, put on thy strength, O Zion, 12 tribes of Israel. Put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city. For henceforth there shall no more come into thee the uncircumcised and unclean, right? The profane. Shake thyself from the dust, right? A low estate, basically being dead from the knowledge of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi. Arise, awake, and sit down, O Jerusalem. Loose thyself from the bands of thy neck, O captive daughter of Zion, right? Because we're broken down spiritually. We're banded. We're in prison, man, right? Let's get something aligned with this. That dust is a dead estate, right? This is Revelations, the 11th chapter. Going to verse 8, it says, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom, and Egypt, where also the Lord was crucified. So I'm going to explain Sodom. Now, old Sodom is destroyed. What place is we dead and we don't know? All captivities. Israel went through 14 captivities. The last captivity, which is America, is where Israel did not know who they was. It was stripped from us. Babylon, we knew who he was. Assyria, we knew who he was. The Greek captivity, we knew who he was. The Rome captivity, we knew who he was. Even around the Muslims, the African booty scratchers, we knew who he was. Right? So Sodom is because America pushed the LGBT community. Egypt, because when you go to Exodus chapter 20, verse 2, it goes and say Egypt is a house of bondage. Egypt means bondage. Bondage means captivity. And when you line up Deuteronomy 28 and 68, them children, which is a prophecy, was sent to Egypt on ships. We walked out of Egypt, but we gonna get on ships. We ain't gonna see our homeland no more. It said we ain't gonna see it no more. We ain't gonna see our homeland as a nation no more, because the Lord took us. And why Acts 1 and 9, the Lord said that they had to go to Judea, Jerusalem, Samaria, in the uttermost part of the earth. None of the apostles and prophets was really prophesying the uttermost part of the earth until we came to the Americas. That's the end of the earth, the uttermost part of the earth, where Yahawashi is crucified. A new image, which is Caesar Borgia, which was pushed four corners of the earth. A name that is not his name, which Jesus means earth pig or earth dirt. His name is Yahawashi. That's how he got crucified. This is where he got crucified, right? On a high scale, a high level. I'm gonna get another one before I read verse 9, because we seen the dead state, right? Baruch, I believe Baruch chapter 3. Let's see, Baruch chapter 3, and I believe it's verse 4. This is Baruch chapter 3, verse 4. O Lord Almighty, thou God of Israel, hear now the prayers of the dead Israelites. How you gonna hear the prayers of the dead Israelites? And of their children which have sinned before thee, and not hearken unto the voice of their power. For the which cause these plagues cleave unto us, right? We're the dead Israelites, man, because we're dead down from the neck up. What we just read in Revelations 11 to 8 chapter, it says, remember not the iniquities of our forefathers, but think upon thy power and thy name now at this time. How can we think of a name if back then we knew it? Because Baruch was around the time of Babylon. We knew his name, you know. But this is a captivity. We got to come back to remembering his name. When you go to Baruch 2 and 30, in the captivity, you shall remember who you are by knowing you an Israelite, understanding in the tribes. And then you're going to go back to knowing who your power is. When you start going back to Exodus and Moses at the bush, and the Lord gave him his name. And when you come around certain brothers that sharpen you up, you start knowing the Hebrew, the Paleo Hebrew, and you find out his name is Yahweh. Then you find out the son name is Yahawashi. That's how we're going to remember who we are. That's how we're going to wake up out our dead state. You know, that's that dust that we read in Isaiah. Now, Revelations 11 and 9, it says, and they of the people in kindreds, in tongues, and nations shall see their dead bodies, right? 3 days and a half. That's talking about 350, or a completer number, 359 days, 359 years in captivity in America. The wars, the physical affliction, those nations seen us because we were in a transatlantic slavery, man. Travel left, right, trigger square, forward, and backwards. The nation seen our dead bodies, you know, dead in a state of not knowing who he is for 359 years. After that 359 years, the Lord started doing an awakening around that time, man. It says, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves, you know, to put us in the graves, man. So hold on, just so we can see that the nations seeing our dead bodies, right? This is even more, because this right here confirms this great slavery. And I know some people don't believe in Deuteronomy 28, 68. But over here, we do. It's Deuteronomy 28, verse 68. The Lord Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Egypt mean bondage. So we went into bondage, we went into captivity in ships, went to slavery again with ships. By the way thereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. We won't see our homeland again as a nation. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Who's not going to buy you? Your own brothers and sisters that might get a high position in this thing. No nation, the Muslims, the Arabs, they all knew who we was. They didn't buy us out to slavery. We became bondmen and bondwomen. They were selling us on the auction block. And guess what? They mock you when certain holidays come. Black Friday was that example back then where they were selling you on the auction block. All praises to Yahawashi for increasing us in his knowledge so that we can understand this, right? So now I'm going to read Revelations chapter 11, verse 10. It says, they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them, right? These nations is rejoicing. We're at a low estate, you know. The nation of Israel was weakening. And make merry and shall send gifts one to another. And I'm just using one side example. When the Dawes Act happened with the Native Americans, what they did is 700 Edomites or Europeans went around killing Indians at a nighttime, and they would have a big ass supper. Later on, that became our holiday, which was Thanksgiving. Then they had the Dawes Act, where they was telling our people to change their name to an English name, just so that they can have their land back or have their own land. And then as soon as they changed it, and then they started to call these names or say, hey, this is the last name Johnson owned this land. You had certain Edomites sliding themselves in as $5 Indians and collecting the land that truly belonged to the children of the Northern Kingdom. So they were sending gifts one to another because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth. We tormented the nations, man, because who we was, you know. When I'm watching a show about the Borgia family, they quote in the TV show, the children of Israel, the holy people, you know. But that was the Lord that put it on them, you know. And those two prophets, because the nations can't be prophets, the children of Israel is. These prophets is going into the southern and northern kingdom. The tabernacles of David is major prophets in the whole 12 tribes. That's why when you go to Revelations, the 7th chapter, you know, the 144,000 is the 12 tribes of Israel. That's the tabernacle of David, right? So we tormented the nations, the southern and northern kingdom. And I'm going to read verse 11, right? And you got to think, even more was another gift, right? Each nation was sold a slave or sold Indian or sold African American or sold a Puerto Rican. Oh, you can have this one. You can go make your sugar. You can go make your molasses. There's multiple gifts that they was giving each other, but one of the top gifts was children of the children of Israel. You know, we were gifts. Even more, we became their possession. Just had to expound on that a little more. Now, verse 11, it says, after these 3 days and a half, which is 350 years, the spirit of life, which is his wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from God, entered unto them. Whoa. And they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them, the nations. And that comes to knowledge increasing, like Daniel prophesied. So these people got fearful. Let's just go to a major point in Ezekiel. It said that we stood up, right? So first I'm gonna read. This is Ezekiel 37 verse 1. It says, the hand of the Lord Yahweh was upon me and carried me out, in the spirit of the Lord Yahweh set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones. This is a vision. This valley is America, but this is a vision, because remember the dead estate. America is the major dead estate the children of Israel was in, right? It says, and caused me to pass by them round about. Again, this is a vision, a vision. And behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. And he said unto me, son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Lord Yahweh Shemashai, power thou knowest. And again he said, prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord Yahweh Shemashai. This proves when it's talking about dead, see they dead bodies or the dead Israelites, it's not a literal dead. You're dead without the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi. You know, this is a vision. Now you could think and see a vision in your mind, like, oh, I'm seeing dead skeletons, and now I'm about to speak to them. They about to come to life, like that movie with Michael Jackson, and he really dead. No, this is really talking about man and woman, Israelites, in a spiritual dead estate. When you go to Wisdom of Solomon, the 9th chapter, Solomon says, without thy wisdom, we are nothing, right? We're dead, right? Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shemashai, power unto these bones. Behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. Right? They're going to live with the breath of life, the same as Adam. Now, I just want to go to the point. Verse 11, it says, then he said unto me, son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they say our bones are dried, and our hope is lost. We are cut off for our parts. Now, I'm just saying a sidebar. If all the other nations can get drafted in and come back and they can get saved, why are they not the dry bones? Because if they don't have the wisdom and knowledge and understanding, they would be dry bones too. They would be dead too from the neck up. But you don't see no verse showing that the other nations was dead. You don't see in the verse where it's showing that it's a falling away of the truth. Who was in the truth? Who was the laws and the prophets for? The children of Israel. So why is that these verses is not showing us that it's a falling away of the nations or the world? Is always going back to the children of Israel, the house of Israel. Where are the dead bones that don't have the breath of life? Right? That's just a sidebar. Right? So I'm going to read verse 12. It says, therefore prophesy and say unto them, say unto who? The whole house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh by power, behold, O my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up out of your graves and bring you into the land of Israel. Right? This graves, even more a lower state, really these captivities. But now you got to start thinking, who did Yahawashi raise from the dead? Actually out a literal. This is a figurative. This is not literal. It's figurative, or as an example, right? But he literally raised up Lazarus. Lazarus was the example of the children of Israel. Like he was in a physical state, right? And the Lord woke him up. Israel was in a spiritual dead state. I'm talking to y'all through the camera. I'm not dead, but through a spiritual state, I was dead before. And the Lord allowed this word to be taught or given to me. And now I'm rising up. like we just read in Revelation 11th chapter. So let's just slide back to that and read verse 11 again, because now I believe you get in the sense of it. You get in the sense of it. We get in the sense of it. Revelation chapter 11, verse 11, it says, and after 3 days and a half, 350, the spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. Right? So in Ezekiel, when he's speaking to the whole house of Israel and giving them the word of Yahawashi, they stood up on their feet and were rising each and every day, from that dead estate. We're rising up, raising out of the grave, getting out of the dust, right? Now let's go to Daniel the 12th chapter. Now that that big reveal is coming to us, because we know who he is, we know who the Lord is. Even more, we're knowing the prophecies, and we know what nation is who, right? So Daniel chapter 12, verse 1, because now when these children wake up, it's ushering in the coming of Yahawashi. Because first it has to be a falling away, then the son of perdition has to be revealed. If he's getting revealed, that means knowledge is growing. It says, at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble. Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7. This goes into Jacob trouble. Before is Jacob trouble leading into World War III, right? It says, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time, and at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book of the life. But we know who is. It's the elect, you know, because Michael is not defending all Israel. He's only going to come and defend the elect, the ones that's going to have that white robe. 60.6% of our people are going to die. Zechariah, the 13th chapter, verse 8 and 9. Daniel chapter 12 and 2 says, and many of them that sleep in the dust, the lowest state of the earth, shall awake. Right? It says many, but we know that many is a few that's going to wake up out of the dust, out that lowest state, that deadest state in the earth, and they're going to awake. Some to everlasting life, right? Getting that glorified body, getting saved on this side, and some to shame and everlasting content, because some is going to die. Many are going to die on this side. Many of the Israelites are going to die on this side, but when they come back in the kingdom, they're going to be ashamed with contempt, because even more, they're going to have their body, right? That glorified body, they're going to be born with it, and they're going to have memory that they rejected this truth. Some is probably in this truth and they're not serious, and they're going to be in the kingdom shamed, ever like with their head down, that they didn't take it serious. The main goal is to be the ones that awake, and that awake to everlasting life. This is what you're striving for. But if you're not striving, you're going to wake to shame and everlasting contempt, because those people are going to get a nuke. They're going to get destroyed on this side, and they're going to come back in the kingdom low. Of course, they're going to be humble, but they're going to be low, right? But I'm going to just show, because Daniel chapter 12, verse 1 was saying, there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. So I just want to show that. I think I'm going to probably read verse 3. I'm probably going to read verse 3 later on. So let me go up to Jeremiah. This is Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7. It says, at last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. We just seen it in Daniel 12. But who's going to be saved out of it? Only the elect is going to get saved out of it. That's why it's called Jacob's trouble, because the Lord judgment is happening in the house of Israel first, you know, and who's getting sifted out, who's getting taken out of that judgment? The elect. All Israel is going to be in this Jacob's trouble, right? Where the Lord is going to be testing the elect while this is happening. But the ones that are not the elect is going to go through way worse in Jacob's trouble. You know, Lord willing, we are of that number. Lord willing, we are of that number. So I believe we got the verse 30 and 31 together. So I'm going to read them again, and now we're going to go to verse we're going to go to verse, we read 30, I'm going to read 31 and 32, right? So it says, the world shall be turned into the old silence 7 days, like as in the former judgment, so that no man shall remain. And after 7 days, the world that yet awakeneth not shall be raised up, and that shall die that is corrupt. And the earth shall restore those that are asleep in her, right? Who's going to be restored? The true believers, right? And so shall the dust those that dwell in silence. In the secret places shall deliver those souls that were committed unto them, right? So after the falling away, the people will awake from the dust. They will awake from that slumber. And we've seen it in Isaiah 52. Awake, awake. You know, even more. You got what, Romans 13:11. You know, wake up out of sleep. For now, salvation is nearer than we believe. Who's going to be waking up? The elect, which are the true believers on this side through Yahawashi Yahawashi, right? So let me go back. Let's go back to Revelations 11:11 real quick, because we got a point to line with Daniel. So this Revelations chapter 11, verse 11, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. Right. And this goes back to what my brothers, they always say, that you got to know the elites, the top elites. They know who the children of Israel really are. You know, they don't want you to get this not wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You know, they wasn't strict on knowing who they was. We talking about the ones that are in power, you know, because in all the major captivities that Israel went through, all these nations knew who we was, right? So going back to Daniel chapter 12, and I'm going to read verse 2 again, but we're going to read verse 3 too. It said, many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever, right? And look, this right here shows the example. It has to be a teacher, you know, that's given the words of Yahawashi that's going to turn people to righteousness. This is why we need the prophets and apostles on the earth. You must, but look, the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the pastors, the true teachers, the bishops of this truth, they're more important than your celebrity, your superstars, because they're going to help a lot of the true believers turn from their wicked ways by the edification. To edify is to build up, right? And I'm going down because it says they were going to shine bright as the firmament. And I just want to get this one. This is Daniel 12:10. It says, many shall be purified and made white and tried. Like the elect is being tried. You 2/3, your lot was already given. Your script was already given. The elect is tried, is being tried. But the wicked shall do wickedly, which the 2/3 is doing wickedly already. And none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. The wise, starting with the 144,000 and the rest of Israel, the ones that are true believers, they're going to understand. Slowly but surely, they're going to understand. They're going to believe. But the wicked is going to do wickedly. They're going to always stay in their vomit, or they're going to always go back to their vomit, right? So now let's go into to the book of Acts, the 15th chapter. Let's go to Acts, the 15th chapter, and let's read verse 16. It says, I'll start at 15. It says, "And to this agree the words of the prophets, as it is written, after this I will return and build again the tabernacle of David, which is fallen down." How did it fallen down? Because of falling away. When after that 70 AD, the built, man, what? A huge U-turn happened. It says, "And I will build again the ruins thereof and will set it up." Now, Israel is a people before a place. You know, Israel, the tabernacle is a people before the place. The Lord is not building the temple, the actual physical building temple, before he build the people. Because you can have a place but don't got no people. It can't talk, it can't reap or collect the harvest. It's the people, right? So now let's go to I think I'm gonna come back to Acts. So let's just leave that right there. I'm gonna come back to Acts. So I'm gonna do it in this one just to show in a precept in the prophets, in the Old Testament, that the Lord said this already, that he was going to rebuild the tabernacles of David, which is a collective of the 12 tribes of Israel. It says Amos chapter 9, verse 11. It says, "In that day I will raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof." He's going to close the breaches like the time of Noah. The Lord closed the door, and sealed the ark. And the ones that remained in the ark was the elect in that time, right? It says, "I will raise up his ruins and I will build it as the days of old," right? The days of old under David is Solomon, which Solomon was really the taste of the kingdom, because we was at peace outside of Solomon's sin. We was one with Yahawashi, Yahawashi. The Lord is going to bring that back, but guess what? It's going to be even better, right? So back to Acts chapter 15, I'm going to read 16 to 18. It says, "After this I will return and will build again the tabernacle of David, which is fallen down, and I will build again the ruins thereof, and will set it up, that the residue of men might seek after the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and all the Gentiles, upon whom my name is called." Right there. This right here proves this is not talking about the other nations, because the Lord name is called in the house of Israel. "Saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, who doeth all these things. None unto God are all his works from the beginning of the world." Now, because of that, I think I want to look up a side precept, just to kill the narrative in the head. Okay, it's not giving me. Where is it? Okay, let me see if this gonna give me what I need. What was it? Yes, second Esdras chapter 3. Second Esdras chapter 3, verse 33. It says, "And yet their reward appeareth not, and their labor have no fruit. For I have gone here and there through the heathen, and I see that they flow in wealth, and think not upon thy commandments. Weigh thou therefore our wickedness now in the balance, and there's also that dwell in the world. So shall thy name nowhere be found but in Israel," man. Now you can read the rest of that, verse 35 and 26. But I just wanted to show that point that we just read in Acts, the 15th chapter, verse 17, that the residue of men might seek after the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai, and all the Gentiles. This is talking about Israelites that fell away and started cleaving to paganism. They're not worshiping the one true power, upon whom my name is called. So that means the Lord's name is called on these Gentiles. Saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai, who doeth all these things. So who is he talking about? 2nd Esdras chapter 3 again, verse 34. Weigh thou therefore our wickedness now in the balance. There's also that dwell in the world, and so shall thy name nowhere be found but in Israel. Right? But in Israel, upon whom my name is called. But only Israel. Right? Israel is the only one that name is identified in, man. Right? So shall thy name nowhere be found but in Israel, man. Only through us his name is found. Only through us his name shall be truly revealed. You know, because to truly have the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai, you shall change every day. Oh man, thank you for that. That's a beautiful lineup right there. Hey, you can't save the heathen. The Lord's name is not found in them. Like, that is amazing, man. All praise to Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai for that one. So we got that understanding of 31, 32. Now, 2nd Esdras chapter 7, verse 33. And the Most High shall appear upon the seat of judgment, and misery shall pass away, and the long suffering shall have an end. And long suffering shall have an end. Right? So again, after the Great Awakening, the Lord will return. Right? Because the Most High shall appear upon the seat of judgment, and the misery shall pass away, and the long suffering shall have an end. Because to serve the Lord on this side is long suffering, right? That's going to end. That is going to end, right? And this is why everything, if you come in this truth, you're going to really realize, especially with this breakdown, you're going to really understand all of this had to happen for the Lord to come. That's why, of course, none of us can really rush Yahawashi Yahawashi. Even more, we still teaching. The feminine word hasn't came yet, because everything is at a appointed time. This is Revelation chapter 21, verse 1 and 4. It says, I saw a new heaven and a new earth. That heaven is a new rulership, which is on earth, right? For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, right? And that goes into all the rulerships before this new heaven and earth. And there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, which before the place is a people. So when people say, oh, this is the kingdom coming down. No, the nations is going to rebuild our kingdom. Just like we built their foundation, their infrastructure, they're going to rebuild. They're going to go into captivity. They're going to be servants, because that's what they really was created for. We're servants too under Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi. But we fell away from the Lord and we became servants of the nations. So this New Jerusalem that John saw was the elect coming down from God out of heaven above the firmament, prepared as a bride, born for a husband. Now this cancel everybody. How is New Jerusalem a bride? Because in scripture, Israel, the southern and northern kingdom, is considered sisters or wives to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi. Wives to Hamashiach Yahawashi. We're the brides. Especially when you look at the elect men. We're the virgins that's going to be connected with our spiritual head, which is Yahawashi. 1 Corinthians chapter 11. Yahawashi is the head of the man, like the man is the head of the woman. Right? So verse 3, it says, and I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men. See, that proves what we read in Amos 9 and 11, right? And Acts 15, 16, and 18. That tabernacle is the 12 tribes of Israel, the men. He said the tabernacle of God is with men. right? I got to get a side precept. I got to. People are like, oh, what about the women? The women is not really the sheep. The women is the sheep under the men. If we was to get technical, right? But Ezekiel 34, Ezekiel 34 and 31. Ezekiel 34 and 31. It says, and ye my flock of my pasture are men, and I am your power, saith the Lord. Yahawashi, Yahawashi, power. The Lord's flock is men. The Lord's flock is men. Proverbs chapter 8 and verse 4. It says, unto you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of men. Right? The men. You got another one in Numbers where the Lord sent men to be the head of the congregation. So the tabernacle is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them, and be their power. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. Right? The former things, right? All those captivities, man, everything you can put in a whole bunch, right, is passed away, all by Yahawashi, Yahawashi, right? So now that y'all got that, Second Esdras chapter 7, verse 34, but judgment only shall remain. Truth shall stand, and faith shall wax stronger, right? Faith is going to wax way stronger. And guess what? Even all of us is growing even more right now in faith. You're growing more in faith. You having more body control, mind control. You putting more order around you, but that's all Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. This is Isaiah chapter 30, verse 19. And it says, for the people shall dwell in Zion at Jerusalem. Thou shalt weep no more. He will be very gracious unto thee at the voice of thy cry. When he shall hear it, he will answer. He will answer thee, right? Why? How is that? Just going back to that example in Second Esdras, right? Because if we go ask, we thinking of something, he's gonna answer. It's because judgment only shall remain, truth shall stand, and faith shall wax stronger. We're gonna have stronger faith, stronger faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai. This is why you're gonna be calling, asking the Lord for this. I ain't gonna lie, in that kingdom, the Lord is gonna give, especially starting with the men, whatever your heart desire. Like Asher said last night, it's gonna be in the kingdom, you ain't gonna never be bored. Right? So Isaiah chapter 65, verse 24, it says, and it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer. And while they are yet speaking, I will hear. Right? Because you're going to be, the Lord is abiding in you. Right before you ask, it's going to already be answered, man. Already going to be done. Right? True judgment. True judgment, man. That's amazing. Judgment only is going to shall remain. Truth shall stand. Right? Faith shall wax strong. And the work shall follow, and the reward shall be showed, and the good deeds shall be of force, and wicked deeds shall bear no rule. It's not going to bear no rule in the Lord's kingdom, right? The Lord's rewards shall be shown, and it doesn't matter if you was righteous or wicked, right? Because even for the righteous of Israel, you get everlasting life on this side. You get to see that change. You get to get scarcely saved. But for the wicked of Jacob that die on this side, they're gonna get the reward of still getting the kingdom, the benefits, but they're gonna be in shame. That's your reward for you not taking Yahweh Shema Shai's true serious. Revelation 22 and 12, even for the nation. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. Right? Starting with the children of Israel, the elect, and the 2/3. We're gonna all have our reward. On this side is either you getting beamed up, or you getting the nuke and then coming in the kingdom. You're gonna either be part of that government, 144,000, part of the rest of the elect, the 1/3 are going into the great multitude, right? And then for the other nations, you as an Esau, you're gonna be the top nigga or the top slave in the kingdom for that 1,000 years, right? All nations is going in a position, right? And you got to imagine there's going to be order. You know, brothers get to pick their servants, their wives. There's going to be a whole bunch of order. Everything is going to be clean. Our women not going to be ran through. And getting in the kingdom again, a glorified body, you're going to be afresh. You're going to be new. So it's going to be like your woman is a virgin, you know? And the Lord is going to have Solomon in his rulership, looking at Solomon as a king. The men of the Lord are going to be kings, and what he had, the men is going to have that and even more. Whatever your desire is, the Lord is going to give it to you fully, double fold. You know, double fold. So you got to know the wicked and evil deeds shall bear no rule, right? So let's get this. Because I was talking about Israel, and then I even said something about the wicked, right? So let's go into the wicked. What is it? In the wicked and evil deeds shall bear no rule. This is going into the other nations because Israel is not going to commit a sin at all. We're going to be in glorified bodies. We're gonna the law is going to be written within us. The other nations, they're going to be regular humans. You puny sapiens. Right? This is Zechariah chapter 14, verse 16 and 17. It says, and it shall come to pass that every one that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem, right? Now, this talking about all the nations that came against us, that spoiled us. Zechariah 2 and 8, right? The ones that the Lord have given to us. What is it? Judges 4 and 14. Right? All the nations that had us in captivity spoiled us. That everyone that is left of all the nations, right? Because a lot of people in these other nations is going to be destroyed when these nukes drop, right? But it's going to be a many remaining which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacle. And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord Yahweh of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. That rain go into a drought or famine. Some people say, oh, they're going to be going and worshiping, but why you not reading the other parts? They're going to get popped. They're going to get a drought and famine if they don't come up. So that just shows that's not salvation. So what comes with salvation is a glorified body. People be like, oh, it's different types of salvation. No, the top salvation is a glorified body. The top salvation, what comes with salvation is immortality. The other nation is not having immortality. Verse 18, and if the family of Egypt go not up and come out that have no rain, drought, it says, there shall be the plague wherewith the Lord Yahweh will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacle. He's going to smite you with plagues. He's going to smite you with drought and famine. And guess what? Another way to get smite is to get a ride on you, man. People really don't know. I'm going to read verse. I'm going to read verse 19. And I'm going to read it again because it goes with verse 35 in 2nd Esdras, the 7th chapter. It says, this shall be the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of all nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. What we just read from 16 all the way down to 19. 2nd Esdras chapter 7, verse 35. And the work shall follow, and the reward shall be showed, and the good deeds shall be forced, which is the feast of the high holy days. You're going to still be doing the Shabbat, the new moon, and the wicked deeds shall bear no rule, right? So the wicked, guess what? You ain't going, if you even try to overstep your boundary, you gonna get popped. That's having no rule. I'm gonna just do what I want. I don't care. You gonna get pop, right? So I read Zechariah. I'll read it again, 14 and 19. And this shall be the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of all nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles, from 16 to 19. Now we about to go to a precept real quick. This Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 11. It says, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil, right? So that's why, what does it say? A wicked and evil deed shall not bear rule. That's why what we read in Zechariah, this is the example that none of this shit is going to fly, right? Because in their hearts, in their mind, the son of men, which goes into these nations, because the children of Israel is the sons of God, the son of men is the nation, and the son of wickedness is the children of Esau. Because when you go to Malachi, they're the border of wickedness. So they're the sons of that. That's the son of the wicked, or the sons of the wicked is Esau. The son of men is the nations. The sons of God is the children of Israel, right? And it's fully set in them to do evil. That's why anybody that don't come and do our feast and come up and praise and worship the Lord, you're going to get smitten. You're going to get popped upside your head. And what happens to a servant on this side if you don't? You go in jail. Guess what? A cop got his knee on your damn neck, or you get shot. And the kingdom is going to be righteous judgment, full righteous judgment. Let alone with the men, they're going to have the power of, they're going to be many gods. Watching all these superheroes, the children of Israel is going to be that. So from verse 28, 2nd Esdras chapter 7, verse 28 to 35, right? That is going into the Lord telling Esdras this through the angel, right? Because if you read 2nd Esdras, you find out that Ezra is fasting and Ezra's asking questions, and the angel is telling them, but all of that is coming from Yahawashi, right? And now verse 36 to 38 is Ezra speaking. Ezra is replying to the angel, right? So I'm gonna read through these verses, and I'll tell you the chapter you could probably go to go read them. It says, then said I, Abraham prayed first for the Sodomites. Now, before I keep going, when you go back to Genesis, the 18th chapter, 16 to 33, he's not praying for the Sodomites. He was interceding to tell Heavenly Father, you're not going to destroy it if it's 50 righteous. Why did he say wicked? He said righteous. So he was talking about the righteous, the only righteous that got saved, scarcely saved, which that's the example of this time, was Lot. And I'm going to just go to it. I want to go to the point where he says, where he plead with the angel about the righteous. Okay. Verse, this is Genesis 18:23. And Abraham drew near and said, wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked? So you go to 2nd Esdras 7:36. Abraham prayed first for the Sodomites. No, Lot was living in Sodom, right? And usually you had some Israelites that's living in Gilead. They might be called a Gileadite, or you had Uriah, one of David's right hand man, and he was called a Hittite, or a Hittite, or a Hittite, a Hittite. I believe his house, his area where he lived, that's where he was at, but he was an Israelite, right? His father was an Israelite, to be more precise. What did I just read? Yeah, verse 23. In verse 24, it says, pre-adventure, there be 50 righteous within the city, wilt thou also destroy and not spare the place of the 50 righteous that are therein, that be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and the righteous should be as the wicked, that be far from thee. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? And the Lord Yahweh said, if I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all the place for their sakes. Right? He wasn't pleading for the wicked, he was pleading for the righteous. And it was people that Abraham could think, oh, it's righteous people that's in Sodom. So if it's 50 in there, will you destroy it? Because he was only interceding. He was pleading with the heavenly, he was pleading with the angel, but pleading to Yahawashi Yahawashi about the righteous. Later on, when you read this, it goes into Lot and his children that get saved. In the whole province, the 5 cities, they all got destroyed. And only Lot and his 2 daughters got saved. So I'm just cleaning that up. So again, you could read Genesis, the 18th chapter, verse 16 to 33. So then I said Abraham prayed for first the Sodomites, going really into the righteous. And you can read that chapter, find this Lot and his daughter. I had to say it again because people would be like, nah, this is saying Sodomite. I know it's saying Sodomite, but when you read it, he was speaking of the righteous. And Moses for the father that sinned in the wilderness. And I believe you go to Exodus 32, because Israel was sinning and the Lord was going to destroy all of Israel, and they wasn't going to remain. Right? And what did Moses say? That the other nations would either, talk about it, laugh. Let me make sure before I just tell you to read that. Yes, it would be Exodus 32, verse 11. Exodus 32, verse 11 to 14. I'll just show you on the joint. Yep, right here. You read this. This is Moses praying to Yahawashi Yahawashi, because the Lord could really destroy us. Could have destroyed us in that time, But Moses prayed for us, man. Prayed for our forefathers that was in the wilderness. Then verse 37, it says, Jesus after him for Israel in the time of Achan. Now, this is not talking about Jesus as in Yahawashi, the son of Yahweh, because in the first verse that we looked in 28, it says, for my son, Jesus, my son Yahawashi. Verse 29, after these years, shall my son Hamashiach die. That's talking about Yahawashi, the son of the heavenly Father. In verse 37, it's talking about Joshua, because Joshua and Yahawashi has the same name when you go back to the Paleo Hebrew, right? Yahawashi, right? And just as an example, just so I could show you what to read, so you can find out that this is talking about Joshua. You go to Joshua, the 6th chapter. The point starts down. I gotta find the point where it starts, because the Lord tell him, don't touch the accursed thing. Right here, Joshua chapter 6 and verse 18 down. Because let me find his name. Okay, that's just the only. So maybe you could just read 18. Read 18 and 19. And then you go over to Joshua, the 7th chapter. And I believe it's around 20. You see at 11. at 11 is showing that Israel have sinned, and they have also transgressed my covenant, which I commanded them, for they have even taken the cursed thing, and have also stolen and dissembled also, and they have put it even among their own stuff. This was revealed to Joshua, and Joshua didn't know who it was. So you could read from verse 11 down, and later on, you see his name is right here, the sin of Achan. And read it all the way down. Him, his children, his animals, his property, his possessions that he had, it all got destroyed by stone and fire. The Lord had his children, his sons, his daughters, his cattle, the things that he had to all be stoned and torched. And that place that they did it became the valley of Acher or Anchor, right? The valley of Acher, right? And I'll read it, verse 24. And Joshua and all Israel with him took Achan the son of Zerah, and the silver and the garment and the wedge of gold, and his sons and his daughters, and his oxen and his asses and his sheep, and his tent and all that he had. And they brought them into the valley of Acher. And Joshua said, why hast thou troubled us? The Lord Yahweh shall trouble thee this day. And all Israel stoned him with stones and burned them with fire after they had stoned them with stones. And the kids didn't even do a dang thing, but the father got penalized. They got penalized after what their father did. That's beautiful. So now you've seen that. So this is Joshua. So now you know Joshua and Yahawashi got the same name. And this is Ezra saying this. So this is how you know Ezra knew that Joshua's name was Yahawashi. It was no J's at all around this time. So what was his name? Yahawashi, right? Verse 38. It goes into Samuel and David for the destruction. You can go into first and second Samuel to read about Samuel and David for destruction. They was praying for destruction and deliverance. They was praying for destruction and deliverance, right? I think you can go into first and second Samuel, and then Solomon for them that should come to the sanctuary. You can go to First Kings, the 8th chapter, and I think either First or Second Chronicles. You can see the same example in First Kings. We would face the east where the temple at and pray to the Lord. That's where our sacrifice was at. We would go to the priest and tell them, and then they would make the sacrifice. That's what that's going into, because Solomon was the one to build the temple, build the house of the Lord, where the covenant in the mercy seat, where the mercy seat was at, the veil where only the high priest can go through, So you got to go into history in the King's book and the Chronicles book, right? So Lord willing, this is edifying, and you got every point, and if it's moving too fast, you just pause it and write the precepts down. Lord willing, again, this is edifying to the hopeful elect. Lord willing, this is edifying to the hopeful elect. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to the one true power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Rakakadaj. And double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well through the Spirit, teaching His word and believing His word. Lord willing, that they continue to endure and be sincere in a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect and the scattered four corners of the earth, teaching His word and believing His word. Lord willing, that you can continue to pursue your lot. And shalom to the Akwathiyam that are believers of the faith. Lord willing, you continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent, salaki, and virtuous wife. And with that, shalom. Shalom.